for the last time. It's Pop Your Clock. The season is finally, nearly at an end. It's been full of highs, full of lows, and it seems as though that we are ending on a high. Hopefully we can cap it off with the high of all highs, and that is a win at home in front of the Chelsea faithful. It's been a season that's taken all of us by surprise, especially this part, the latter end of the table, the season, the campaign, whatever you want to call it, because we are currently speaking, we are in 6th place with a chance of finishing in 5th if, of course, Tottenham lose to Sheffield United and we win against Bournemouth. Newcastle United will be fighting it out. It's not necessarily too much of a concern, of course, unless we lose our game and Newcastle win. Manchester United cannot finish above us unless they win like 15, 16-0. Not likely to happen. But for today or tomorrow, whenever the game is, we have a game against Bournemouth, a team that I don't really like playing against very often, to be honest with you. But that said, Chelsea are unbeaten in the past 4 Premier League meetings, winning 2, drawing 2. 3 of Bournemouth's 4 top-flight wins against Chelsea have come at Stamford Bridge. Since the Cherries' debut in the Premier League campaign of 2015-16, only Manchester City and Liverpool have won more away games against Chelsea in the top flight, which is a frightening, a frightening statistic coming into this game. It doesn't leave us with too much in the way of hope in terms of their form away from home. It's not terrible. It's not great. They've won, 1, 2, 3 in their last 10. Their last one was back in the 24th of April. So it's been nearly a month since then. They've since lost against Arsenal, but the 3 wins coming against Wolves, Burnley, and Nottingham Forest. So hardly a star-studded run in terms of teams that they faced and beaten. Obviously, there's issues coming into this game with regards to our team. We've got Reece James missing. We've got Mudryk missing now. Several players have returned, but of course, after that game, Reece James just being a silly boy and putting us in a bit of a sticky situation with regards to Malo Gusto. Is he fit? I think he is fit. I think there was an issue, wasn't there, if I'm not mistaken. But Reece James is out regardless for 4 games. It has been confirmed that the rumours, I suppose, or the reports are confirmed that he will miss this game and the first 3 games in the Premier League next season. No matter what happens, it's an absolute frustration. It's such an unnecessary situation to put the club in, to put yourself in, really, when you are the captain. It's becoming an all too common occurrence. Like, this is the second red card. I said it in the review or the 5 things that we learned. I think maybe, I don't know. He's played 5 games as a starter, 5 games off the bench. And yet he has, that's it, 10 games he's played in, 10 games of all season. 420 minutes or something like that. And he's got the most red cards in the Premier League, or the joint most, alongside like Bissouma, who's played over 2,000 minutes. It's just not becoming. It's not very becoming of your captain, especially when he plays absolutely no games in a season, down to injury, of course. But when he is back, getting sent off, it's not great, is it? It's not great. And both of those red cards have come as a means of totally avoidable situations, kicking out and pushing people over when you've already just been booked. I think that was in the game that you got the first red card, but then kicking out against someone who you're 2-0 up against, fighting for Europe. It's a weird spot to put your rest of your team in, and we nearly ended up drawing that game. I don't want to harp on about it too much, but it's just. It's becoming something that it obviously needs to be addressed. Anger, frustration levels. I just don't understand it. Surely you would be doing everything you can possible to make sure that you are back playing first team football. So to then make it so that you miss 4 games, it's just crazy, isn't it? I think that alone has squandered any possibility of a place in the Euro squad, which I think was unlikely anyway. But of course, it is what it is, eh? With that said, again, the remaining fixtures, we'll get into a few other things in just a second, but the remaining fixtures it's one game. Obviously, Sheffield United play against Tottenham, and that's probably the game that affects us the most at this point. We're looking up for once rather than down in terms of, I mean, that's not really true, is it? We've been looking up the whole time. But we are in the driving seat, I would say. They both have away games as well. We've just played Brighton away. I would imagine that they're going to be up for that game against United. They know that United are quite an easy team to turn over. But then again, they did well against Newcastle the other day when we were playing against Brighton. They've got Brentford as well, Newcastle. They can only get 60 points as a maximum. We can get 63. I think when I first started doing this graphic, we've maintained the 63 maximum. I think United had like 65 possible at one point, and likewise, or 67. I think it was 67 points. Ours was 63 and Newcastle's was 65, and they're both now down to 60. We're staying on 63. Hopefully we can get that. But it is what it is. In terms of starting 11s, I don't see it changing too much. Obviously, James being absent doesn't really make too much of a difference at all. I think Petrovic in goal, Cucurella inverted role, blah, 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 the same old thing. Badiashile and Chalobah, maybe. I would almost guarantee surely Thiago Silva starts. I can't imagine he finishes, because he's going to get a send-off. You know how it works. It's the same. John Terry, Drogba, whatever. They'll get carried off. But I wouldn't imagine Thiago Silva's gonna play the full 90 minutes. I can see him starting, maybe even coming off in the 6th minute. Play Badiashile for the full game. And then just see what happens there. Chalobah will start. Gusto will start. Caicedo and Gallagher will start. Palmer, the young player of the year, the little rascal, should have got the player of the year. Don't know how Foden's managed to wiggle that one, but there we go. Madueke on the right, Jackson up top, and Raheem Sterling should start on the left. Maybe his final game for Chelsea in the Premier League, or in general. Maybe his final game for Chelsea as a whole. Other than that, obviously there's the rumours with Chalobah and Gallagher. Who's going to go out of those two? Are they both going to go? Are they both going to stay? On that 11, I think Sterling's the only one I can see definitively leaving. But even then, there's not been any kind of rumours that he's going to be going for sure. But it's just, I can't imagine going into next season with Raheem Sterling in our squad. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those weird ones where I already feel like he's not really one of our players. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know. He's kind of there, isn't he? He's just kind of there. He scored some important goals this season. Don't get me wrong. I'm not discrediting him or saying he's been shit. He's been all right. I'm just saying, as an actual player for Chelsea, it just feels like, even since he got here, it doesn't feel like he takes himself as a Chelsea. I don't know. I might be waffling. I just see it in like a way of like, we'll look back and think, gosh, do you remember Sterling used to play for Chelsea? Can you believe that? I can't see going down in history as like one of those, unspoken Chelsea players that did bits for us, because he hasn't. Other than that, obviously Mudrik's out, Sanchez, Chukwuemeka, Fernandez, Lavia, Fofana, and James. But at the same time, the injury list has been reduced. I would imagine if we're doing quite well by half time, we might see some inclusions from some of maybe the reserve players or the youth players. Sorry. Alex hates when I say reserve players because it's not a thing, apparently. But either way, in terms of the actual game, 2.5 goals, yada, yada, yada. You've heard me say that a million times at this point. But predictions, I'll give you a couple of facts beforehand, though, coming into this game. Chelsea can win 5 consecutive Premier League games for the first time since March of 2022. And that came under Thomas Tuchel. Young Player of the Year, Cole Palmer, has scored 16 of his 22 top-flight goals at Stamford Bridge this season, meaning that he's equalled Didier Drogba and Frank Lampard's home-scoring records at the club, which is outrageous, isn't it? Absolutely outrageous. Predictions. I think I'm going to go with a 3-1. I can't discount or deny the possibility of us conceding. That said, it might also aid or cater to that the rejuvenation, the rebuild, the great run of form that we're on at the moment. If we are to then finish on a clean sheet, would be fantastic. But then again, you don't know. We don't know. It could happen. Only lost once at home in 2024. The record currently sits at 8 games played at home, by the way, with 1 loss, 1 draw, 6 wins. It's been good. Stamford Bridge is becoming a bit of a fortress at the moment, once again. Bournemouth's a record away from home again. Not great, not terrible. Wouldn't be a surprise if we do concede at the same time. But yeah, 3-1. That's what I'm going with. I'm absolutely knackered, if you couldn't tell. And that is purely from the season as a whole. I'm just done. I'm so over it. I just want the new season to start already. Obviously, we've got the Euros coming up as well. I'll be doing the watch-alongs every single day for the Euros over the Euros period. Of course, if England get to the final or even like a semi-final, I can't guarantee I'll be doing those streams, but at the same time, if not, I'll be doing it all. I'm doing it anyway. All the rest. I'll be doing all the England group stage games here as well. But yeah, for the Premier League season, it's done. It's over. We've got one more review to do, and then we can call it a day, and then we can move on to the Euros pre-season, and then the next season. But thank you for watching for the whole season. If you have done, thank you for subscribing. We've really reached some good numbers this season. I think we started on about 4,000, maybe 5,000. So we've done well to get to where we are. 10,000 is the new goal. And then we move from there. But again, thank you for watching. Please do like, subscribe, hit the bell notification to be notified of any future content on the channel. For the last time. It's Pop Your Clock. Thank you for watching. My name is Harry. Up the Chelsea. And peace.